Good evening. It's nice to meet everyone. So just very briefly, I'm Tolu Yusufu, and I'm a certified and experienced agile um, agile consultant. So I've worked as a Scrum Master, still working as a Scrum Master. I've worked as a product owner, a business analyst, and I've also got experience with Power BI, analyzing data with Power BI. My current role right now is working with 2 squads at my place of work as a PO on one squad and as a Scrum Master on another squad. With a couple of years experience. And I've been on this journey as well. I started off on this journey just like you guys are starting off right now. So I would say that that's the first step to take. So you've made the right decision to be here taking this step today, because this is exactly the same decision that I made a couple of years back, and it has brought me to where I am today by the grace of God. So that is me in a nutshell. So career development. What I will do today is I would walk us through some basic tips that I feel like we should be aware of when we talk about career development. Let's start from somewhere. I'm happy to take questions at the end of this call. Oh yes, yeah, Choma, it is possible. Depends on where you work and depends on the project. But we won't go into that today. But yeah, it is very, very possible. You can be on a project. You can be on 2 projects as a Scrum Master. You can be on 2 projects depending on the client, on what role you are with the client. But we won't go into that today. So we will go through. I don't have any slides to share. I'm not sharing any slides today. So it's going to be an interactive session. So I will just walk us through some tips that I want to share with us today on the call. And then, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your questions at the end of the call. We'll leave about 5 minutes or thereabout at the end of the call to take questions. So just very quickly, I had a few bullet points. I think just two, 3 bullet points that I noted down. And the first one was, before we start the call, I know you had a session last week and we've been talking about career development. Based on the session that you have last week, I was just going to start off by asking, does anyone have any question around career development? For every time that you have a session, any session it is whatsoever, I would advise and suggest that we don't let that session end there. Let's take whatever we've been spoken to about or we've been taught, let's take it off the call and let's reflect on it. Let's read back on our notes, and please take notes as well. Very important. Take notes as well. So just wanted to start off by asking if anyone has any questions from the session last week or around career development. If there are no questions, then we'll just dive straight into it. Choma.
Good evening, everyone. My question is not really to do with last week, because I think I missed the call, but just a question around how early can we start applying for jobs on the course, because I haven't done any certification, been working on the projects, but how soon can we start applying for jobs? I think that was my question around career development. Thank you.
As soon as possible.
Really?
As soon as possible. But of course, let's be realistic here now. Of course, before you start applying for jobs, you need a CV, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a CV prepared. It's not just about preparing the CV. It's not just about having a CV in place. You create your CV, make sure you have someone review your CV for you to make sure that your CV is up to the standard that it should be up to. Make sure your CV has the right content that it needs to have in there, has the right buzzwords that it needs to have in there, and has all the ingredients it needs to have to make it a nice, yummy CV that it should be, that will get you into the interview, through the doors to your interviews. That needs to happen first. So for you to have your CV created, let's look at that. You've only just started this journey, yeah?
Yeah.
And from the very first day up until this moment, remember I just said right now, I said, make sure you take notes.
Yes.
For every note you are taking, it will become useful for you, not only for your CV creation, it will become useful for you during your internship, it will become useful for you during your interviews as well. So take notes. For every new thing that you're learning every day, Note it down. Today, I learned how to use Azure DevOps. Today, I learned how to use Jira. Today, I learned about stakeholders, engaging with stakeholders, managing stakeholders management. Today, I learned about Figma, about Visio. Make sure you're noting everything down, because all of this will come in your CV as part of your skills, your technical skills that you have learned on this platform. So for everything you're learning, you note them down. This will make up the recipe for your CV. Do you get what I mean? The thing with this program is that you would see that within the next couple of weeks, Deji is going to start hammering on about CVs. Get your CVs ready. Get your CVs reviewed. Push your CVs out. Start applying for roles. Even before you finish your internship, we will get you to start applying for roles, because you would get to that point whereby we know that you are, you're able to put yourselves out there. You know what you know. Sometimes we feel like, the thing is, the reality is you can't learn everything in 1 year. So you can't learn everything in 3 months. But what we give you on this platform is the depth of what you need to know. What you need to know to get you out there, to get you those jobs. That's what we're giving you on this platform. Do you get what I mean? So those ingredients is what you need to start cooking up right now, because I would say to you, maybe in the next 3 weeks or thereabouts, or next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe not even up to 4 weeks, we're going to start encouraging people to start applying for jobs, because by then you will have started gaining knowledge within your different roles. And sometimes we feel like, oh, I don't know so much yet. I don't know a lot yet. I'm still learning. We're all still learning. So don't doubt yourself. But Chioma, just to summarize that, yes, you will soon start applying for your roles, but the first step is you need your CV, and you need to start preparing those CVs. You need to start thinking to yourself, start creating a draft of your CV. All right, I'm a Scrum Master. I'm training to be a Scrum Master. What is required of me as a Scrum Master? What are the skills required of me as a Scrum Master? Take your notepad, note those skills down, do your research, ask your, mentors on the platform. I need to have this skill as a Scrum Master. Note those skills down. Soft skills, technical skills that I need to have as a Scrum Master, tools that I need to learn as a Scrum Master how to use. These are some of the things that will be taking you through on the platform as well. So once you have that noted down on your notepad, as soon as you're learning these things, you start to tick them off and you start to put them on your CV, on that draft of your CV that you started to create. And before you know it, you will have a CV ready to be reviewed, right? So don't worry, don't fret, don't stress right now. In the few weeks, before you know it, you will be encouraged to start putting yourselves out there for interviews. But we need those CVs to be ready, and we need to be preparing ourselves into to get to that point where we start creating. So start having a draft down, start thinking about the things that you're learning, the things that you're being taught, the things that your mentors are talking about, your tutors are talking about. Start thinking about those things and start noting them down, because all of this will be the ingredients that will go into creating your CV at the end of the day. Does that help?
Yes, thank you. Very helpful.
Okay, cool. You're welcome.
Very helpful.
Okay, thanks, Abel and Chioma. Okay, all right. So we don't have much time, and I want to leave a 5 minutes at the end. So let's start. We've gone with questions. Preparation towards your career development. We'll look at start planning. We've talked about CV creation, and Chioma, thanks for asking that question, because that was one of my bullet points. Start planning, CV creation, interview preps, asking questions. Those are some of the things we will touch on very quickly in the next few minutes that we have left on this call. For everything, for me, I believe that for every step you take, for everything that you want to set out to achieve as a person, one key thing that I don't joke with is planning. You need to plan. You need to understand, what do I want? Because when you have an understanding of what you want, then that would guide you to being focused on achieving, taking the path to achieve that you set your mind to, right? Which was why I said at the start that you've taken the first step, which is what you've done now by being on this platform. Now, I want you to start thinking about your current position. Identify your current position. To begin your career development, you want to plan by focusing on your current role. What is my current role? What level am I at right now? Do I need more knowledge? Yes, you do, which is why you're here. So you've taken the first step, like I said earlier on. Now, I need you to also, in your notepad, ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish within the few weeks that I have on this program? The next 3 months, what do I want to accomplish? Identify these things. What are your strengths? Again, when you start to note down your strengths, it helps you as part of your ingredients that would go into your CV creation as well. So if you're here to train as a software tester, what are your strengths in that area? When you start to go through your training with your tutors, do your research as well. Do your research as well. The more you get taught on this platform, the more research you do within your own space, your own time, the more questions we encourage you to bring back to your mentors and ask your mentors so that they can then shed more light on whatever it is you need clarity on. Yeah, so note these things down. Identify your current position. This is what I'm doing right now, but I want to achieve this, and that is why I'm here on this platform, to achieve this, to move from this level to the next level. Right? Now, what do I want to accomplish within the next 3 months? There are people that have come on this platform and they've, for 3 months training and internship, and they've secured roles within 1 month of being on the platform, within 2 months of being on this platform, even before the end of the 3 months training and internship. Or I won't say 1, 2, 3, or 4. There are loads of your testimonies like that. Who says that yours cannot be the same? But then you need to start planning ahead and be focused. Yeah, so that's very briefly I'll touch on. Then again, of course, that's part of identifying your destination. Remember I said your current position, identify your current position, and then your destination. Where do I want to be? What do I want to achieve within this period? And for everything that you start noting down, like I said, it will become useful. Trust me, you will come back when you start attending interviews. You will come back and you would say, your notepad. I still have my notepad from when I did my training and internship on this platform years ago. I still have my notes. I still have that notepad with me. That notepad, those notes you're taking will start to become useful for you. Where do you want to go with your career? Identify your destination. What is your ultimate career goal? There are things that will set you aside. There are things there will be constraints. Because again, of course, you have your family life, you have personal life outside this platform. So there will be things that will try and hold you back. But again, be focused on that career that you're trying to develop. Be focused. Have a plan. Have a career plan. Map that plan out. This is where I am right now. This is a start. Where do I want to be? When do I want to get there? In order for me to get there, what do I need to do? I need to be trained. I'm at that point now. Mark that as a milestone. I'm getting trained right now. What do I need to do? I need to get certified. I want to get certified. At what point do you want to get certified? If you don't know the certifications that you should be taking for your different roles right now, or how to start going about those certifications, start asking those questions now. And you will get answers to those questions. These are the certifications that you should do for this role. This is the one you should do for that role. Use this link, use this, use that. You will start getting those answers. Start preparing for those certifications as well. So map out your career development plan. And try and make sure that, because this is just the start of the career development session, we're going to get into a point whereby we will start doing interview prep during this session on a Thursday. We'll start prepping you for interviews. How do you prepare yourself for interviews? What do you do ahead of your interview? What do you do during your interview? How do you compose yourself? What to say, what not to say, how to respond to interview questions. We would walk you through the different type of interview questions that you can get out there. And how do you respond to this interview? How best do you respond to these interview questions? Yeah, so identify your current position and identify where you want to go, where you want to be. The other thing I would say is that you would have mentors on this platform. Utilize those mentors, drain them, squeeze them if you need to squeeze knowledge out of them, but utilize those mentors. They come with a lot of experience and they know what they're saying. So use your mentors. Make sure you have connection, establish a relationship with your mentors. Find time to meet with your mentors and have a conversation with them. Ask them questions. For me as a mentor, when I meet with mentees, I always say to them, don't come into a meeting with me without coming with questions. Because when you come to me with questions, then it makes me feel like I know that you've gone ahead, you've gone out there and you've done certain research, you've been reading, you've been learning, you've been listening to the sessions that you've been taken through by your tutors. And that's the only way you would have questions for your mentors. If you're not listening, if you're not digesting what your tutors are walking you through or training you on, if you're not doing your own personal development within your own space, of course, how would you have questions to ask? Do you get what I mean? So make sure that it's just 3 months, guys. And trust me, this 3 months is going to fly past within the twinkle of an eye. You're going to be asking yourself, when did we start? Like, is that it? 3 months gone? So dedicate this 3 months. Any distractions, whatever you feel will be distracting you right now, I know there's family life, like I said, but have a plan. Have a plan. I usually at night time when everywhere is quiet, everyone is asleep, I usually just have at least an hour or an hour and a half to myself, and I do my own personal development in the house. I go online, even up till now. Because again, the IT world evolves. It keeps evolving. Things keeps changing. New things, new techniques, new tools, new things come up every day. And you don't want to be left hanging. You don't want to be caught unawares. You don't want to be that person that, the knowledge you have 5 years ago is what you're still carrying about when everyone else is evolving with the IT world itself. So yeah, I'm still learning as well. I wouldn't say I know everything. Nobody does. Yeah. So have that focus. This 3 months, like I said, people have gotten roles within 2 months on this internship. And that can be you as well. Right? So please be focused and ask questions. I've spoken about qualifications as well, certifications rather as well. So create your career development plan. Like I said, what are the skills you need? Ask, research, note them down. There are some skills you have that will be useful within your different roles that you might not know. But when you start to write things down sometimes and you look at them visually, you look at things that you've written down, it starts to come to you. So set goals for yourself. Set goals for yourself. Yeah. So these are some of the things that I noted down to say that for career development, start planning from now. Start your CV creation. Even if this week, even if your personal summary or your professional summary is the only thing you have on your draft, on your CV draft, that is a step in the right direction. That is a step in the right direction, but start to put a draft together because you will start to evolve. That CV will start to evolve as you go along. You'll be like, okay, all right, let me add this, let me put this, let me add this ingredient, let me add that ingredient. Interview preps. Whenever you hear interview prep, just jump on the call if you're able to. Jump on the call. There is no interview prep session that is a waste. And ask questions. Don't be that person that will come on calls and we will say, do you have any questions? And you don't have a question to answer to ask. Because that goes to show that this person has been listening. This person has been learning. Even outside the sessions that we're having, this person has gone back and they've done their own work. Ask questions. The more questions. Look, if you ask me a question, if I don't have an answer for you or I'm not sure of the answer for you, I will tell you, Chioma, let me come back to you on that. Because that is you challenging me as well. And I will go back, I will do my research on that question, and then I'll come back to you with an answer. Because if I say I'm going to come back to you with an answer, I will come back to you with an answer. So the first step you want to take is create a career development plan for yourself. Identify where you're at right now and identify where you want to be and when you want to get there and how you want to get there. Put it out on a plan, map it out on a plan, and focus on that plan. And for every milestone you achieve on that plan, tick it, put a tick on it. I've achieved this. I've achieved that. Do you get what I mean? So those are the steps that I want you to start taking now, because again, like I said, by the time we keep going into career development calls from maybe next Thursday onwards now, it's not going to be the basic stuff that we're talking about now or what they just spoke about last week Thursday with you. We would expect progression. We will start to progress into certain areas, starting to get your CV reviewed, starting to get interview preps in. There are times we'll come on this call on a Thursday and I will throw a question. And I will expect people to put themselves forward. Please do not be shy. I don't know anyone's face on this platform. You probably don't know my face, except if you go and maybe, I don't know, Google or something. But even after that, I don't think we've met. So there's nothing to be shy about. So ask questions. And the thing on this platform is there is nothing like a silly question. Trust me, nothing. So no matter what question you ask, nobody's going to say to you, that's a silly question. Why would you ask that sort of question? Nobody will say that. Ask those silly questions here. Make those silly mistakes on this platform and let us correct you. Now, the other thing that I would mention very quickly is this. Going into your internship, within your different projects, your squads, your teams, within your different project teams, start to be observant. Start to be observant. In interviews, there's something we'll call situational-based interview questions, behavioral-based interview questions, competency-based interview questions. Now, these questions are questions that would require you to respond to them using something we call the STAR technique. I don't know how many people have heard about answering interview questions using the STAR technique. These sort of interview questions are questions that will require you to answer using the STAR technique, which is the STAR. I'm not going to go in depth into the STAR technique tonight, but I'm mentioning it very briefly on this call because you're going to start hearing a lot about the STAR technique of answering questions. And it's STAR. S is for the situation, T is for the task, A is for action, and R is for results. Now, what that means is that you get asked a question in an interview, right? You get asked a question, maybe a behavioral question, a situational-based question, competency-based question, whatever it is. You get asked this question in an interview. They are expecting you to respond using the STAR technique. So you're looking at questions, for example, let me think of a behavioral question. So for a behavioral question, you're looking for something like, tell me about a time when you were asked to do something you had never done before. How did you react and what did you learn? Now, what they're trying to listen out for is this. They're trying to listen out for your excitement about tackling new challenges. How excited are you about tackling new challenges, about taking on new challenges? Your willingness to leave your comfort zone and try new things, step into the new zones, new areas, knowing that you will learn something valuable from that experience. Now, what they want you to do is, in answering that question, they want you to talk about a similar situation that you have been in before, that you have found yourself in before, and how you were able to walk through that situation. The situation, the task, the action that you carried out, and the result of that. So it's about storytelling, in short. Let me put it like that. It's not storytelling that you have to talk for 1 hour. It's about storytelling. So there's a technique to it. That's why they call it the STAR technique. There's a technique to it, and these are the things that we will be walking you through during career development when we get to that stage. There's a technique to it. There's a way you have to structure your response to such questions. And trust me, you will get a lot of these questions in interviews. There's no way you escape it. No way. You cannot escape it. Irrespective of what your role is. You won't escape situation questions. You cannot escape it irrespective of your role. So we will look into things like that as well. So what brought me to that is this. Within your project on this platform, things would happen. Be very observant. As a Scrum Master, for example, there might be conflict within your team. When you identify that there's a conflict, probably between two team members, maybe between your BA and your QA, between your BA and your developer, or whoever, once you identify that there's a conflict, as a Scrum Master, don't handle that conflict as, don't just handle it anyhow. Don't just look at it and say, all right, guys, you don't need to argue. It's okay. Let's just work together. We're a team. We're all here to learn. Blah, 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 blah. Don't just handle it like that. Handle it the way it should be handled. And how should it be handled? You need to start looking into conflict resolution. It's a skill that you should have. It's a skill that everybody should have, irrespective of your role, but very key for a Scrum Master to have that skill. Right? Now, if you look into that conflict resolution, how do I resolve conflict within my team members if it arises? That's the step that I would want you and I would advise that you take in resolving such a conflict. Don't look at it by saying that, because I've seen interns when they will go, oh, it's okay, guys, let's not argue, we're all here to learn, nobody should argue here and all of that. Resolve that conflict. Start thinking in this direction from now. Oh, okay, I think there's something brewing up here. I need to resolve this. I need to resolve this before it gets out of hand. What steps do I need to take? Those are the steps that you need to take to resolve that conflict. Because during an interview session, you might get a question around, tell us a time when you had to resolve conflict within your team. Now, when you get such a question, you will need to respond using the STAR technique. And the experience you get from this platform, from that conflict you resolved for those team members, that is the experience you will talk about. That whilst you were working on this project, there was a conflict between your BA and your QA. This was the situation. This was what happened. And this was what I did. I did this, I did this, I did this, and I did that. And I took these steps, I took these actions. And at the end of the whole thing, this was the result. So use those situations on your projects. Note them down, write them down. Your notepad, again, remember, notepad. When you observe something, write it down on your notepad. Rose and Kenneth, BA, QA, this was what happened. Kenneth was upset because Rose, the BA, did not write this acceptance criteria properly. Kenneth did this, Kenneth said that, and this was what I did. Write it down so that you don't forget. Because some people forget, and some people will be like, I remembered, okay, yeah. During our internship, Tolu and Choma had a conflict, but I can't remember what happened during that conflict. Write it down so that you don't forget, because there will be different things that would happen that you need to start observing. Even QAs, BAs, be very observant. Take the right steps. How do you elicit requirements as a BA? How do you manage your stakeholders? Things like that. Once you start going through sessions, your training sessions, and your tutors take you through stakeholder management, go through the video, the recording again, watch it back. If you have questions, ask questions, note down what you've learned. Stakeholder metrics. There's something else we call the stakeholder onions, the onion metrics, process mapping, things like that. Note them down, note down what, and use them on the platform. If you're asked to do something, like you're asked to create a process map, please create the process map. Make mistakes, you'll be corrected. If you're asked to create your stakeholder matrix, create your stakeholder matrix. Don't just shelve it aside. Oh, I didn't have time because I work at night. Yeah, before I changed career as well, guys, I did work at night as well. I worked long shifts as a team leader in the mental health project. As a team leader, I would work long shifts sometimes when my team members, when they cancel shifts and I can't get a bank staff to cover, I'll stay on and I'll work. Sometimes I close quite late at night. On my way home, I'm joining calls. I'm using my earpiece. And that's what's during my internship. And I'll be joining daily stand-up on the road using my earpiece. And I still have to pick up my child from the childminder that night. It's all about knowing what you want, when you want to get there, how you want to get there, and something needs to give. I'm not saying that, don't focus on family life and all of that. But within yourself, you know that you have 5 minutes somewhere that you can quickly spare to read up on something. I would use my break time at work in my office. I will stay in my corner in my office during my break, and I'll be joining meetings. Sometimes during my break time, I will be online. I'll be reading because I knew why I was on the platform. I knew I had 3 months, and I knew where I was going, and I knew what I wanted, what I wanted to achieve from it to get there. We all have different races that we're running. We're all running different races here. Thompson might get a job tomorrow. Tolu might not get a job until the next 4 months. Do you get what I mean? But do not lose focus. Whenever you hear someone has gotten a job, just tap into it. Tap into it and say, congratulations, Rose. I'm happy for you. And tap into it as well. And keep doing what you're doing. But there's one thing I would say though, guys, ask questions. Ask questions, very important. Please, ask questions. Do not shy away from asking questions. If we don't have the answers for you immediately, we will come back to you with answers. Let me stop there for now and see if anyone has any questions for me. Talking about questions. Any questions? Or question? Or have I just been speaking to myself? Have I put everyone to sleep or?
No, you haven't been speaking to yourself.
Okay.
You
All
have
right.
You have dropped very, very valuable nuggets and inspired me personally. So I'll speak for myself. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to just say thank you for the wonderful presentation, and all you have said is really needed in terms of what we need to know, how we need to relate with ourselves, communicate, and to succeed as a team. So yeah, for me, I'll just say thank you for the presentation again, and if you can shed more light about you've talked about how you were able to succeed, but like in terms of things that we can do, habits we can incorporate to be successful in our roles, I think that will also help me personally. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Isaac, for that. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Let me take Adijat as well. Thank you. That was well appreciated. Adijat.
Yes, thank you so much for thank you for everything that you've said so far. I guess it's just a bit of a motivation hearing all that, and thank you very much. So I just want to quickly ask, in terms of getting a CV done, do you have like a template, or like this is a very good template that you guys could wrap your head around, or should we just randomly create what we like whenever that is being requested from us? Which one do you suggest? Is there like a standard template that you Citadel does recommend, or do we just create that according to what we prefer?
Okay, all right, cool. Thanks, Adijat. All right, I'll come to you in a minute, Adegboyega. So let me answer the two questions from Adijat and Isaac. So Adijat first. we don't have a template that we would say to you, Adija, take, this is a template you should go and use to create your CV. Yeah. People create their CVs using different templates. I know that, you know, you would find online that there are some templates that are so fanciful and people will just go and create their CV using this fancy template. It's not about your CV being fancy and having different colors here and there and looking all, you know, it's not all about it. Like I said, it's about the content. And there are some templates that I know that they use in the US that you'll find online. There are templates that, you know, UK, they use in the UK that you find. Honestly, for me as a person, I've never used any template to create my CV. I just use Word documents and I just create my CV on. Because sometimes the thing with me is, you know, you use templates sometimes and then you want to change something and everything is just all over the place and, you know, it just, but there are people that use templates, you know, just go online, look for a nice template. And I'm sure, I think Deji usually takes a session where he shares a screen and it shows, you know, different templates that you can find online that you can use. I'm sure he's probably still going to take that session as well with you. But, you know, whilst you're looking for different templates, you know, you can, you know, good old Word document you can still use for now to create your CV. I've never used it. I just used Microsoft Word to create my CV, to be honest with you. But we don't have a template that will say this is blue sky recommended template for you to create your CV. No, we don't. You know, we just, you know, look for a template that you're happy with, that's, you know, nice, clean template that you can use. But don't go looking for all those ones that, you know, have brown color, blue at the bottom, different color riot thing going on and stuff like that. It's not about that. It's the content in your CV. For me, it's the content in your CV that matters. Those buzzwords in your CV that matters. So I hope that answered your question, Adijat.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, going to, the name keeps flying up, Isaac. Yeah, so going to Isaac, with regards to what you should be doing in order to get to where you want to go within your roles. That was your question, Isaac, right? Isaac? Was it Isaac? Yeah, it was Isaac.
I'm here, sorry, just having little technical issues.
No, sorry, that's fine. So I said that was your question, right? Like, what would we advise that, you know, you start doing to help you get to that point that you want to get to within your career, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So it's as simple as one, commitment. You will be taught a lot of things. Like, you know, I said at the start that you cannot learn everything in 1 year. So you cannot learn everything in 3 months. We learn every day. We're still learning. I'm still learning. The world, the IT world is evolving. But what you will get in 3 months on this platform is the depth of what you need to know to get you those jobs. And in order for you to absorb all the knowledge that we'll be sharing, in order for you to not just absorb it, but also, you know, put it into practice within your different projects groups, yeah, is commitment. Be committed. Work using best practice, right? So if your Scrum Master is saying that, oh, Isaac, maybe you're a QA, Isaac, you know, what's the update with your ticket, you know, during stand-up, give updates. Make sure you're moving what needs to be moved. Make sure you're picking up work when you, so be committed to the work and be, you know, be, how would I put it now? Be conscious with your learning. Like I said, create a map. Create a career development map and say to yourself, this is what I want to do. This is when I want to get it. This is how I want to get it. Be committed. Listen. There are times that you will say, the QAs, I want you to do this, or the BAs, I want you to do this. Scrum Masters, I want you to present this to me. It would give assignments sometimes. Do those assignments. Now, for every assignment that you probably might get, it's not because somebody's going to sit down somewhere and start like marking it like a teacher, 50 over 50, 10 over 50. No, Messi did not do well. Messi got 5 over 50 or whatever. It is because of one, when you sit down to do assignments, sometimes you do research, you watch your videos back from the training sessions, things will start to fall in place. When you start to answer those questions or put those things together that you've been asked to put together, the more you would, that things will get stored in our brains. And then you come back and present these things. So be committed to the process. It's just 3 months. Do what you are asked to do in terms of creating artifacts or submitting any assignments. And ask questions. If you're not clear on something, ask questions. But again, I started with commitment. It's going to be an intense. The internship is always intensive. It's always intense. It's always intense, the internship. And you would find people, at some point, they were like, man, this is too much. I don't think I can do this. This is too much. I don't have. At that point, that is a point where you need to stand and say, I have started this and I would finish it. It's usually intense. I would say that. Yeah, that's not something that I don't think anybody will hide for you from this platform. So be committed, right? We have something we call the support calls. And I know it's going to happen if it hasn't started already for your set as well. The support calls, these are calls that we put in place. I think it's once a week it's a weekly call where we come together. I think it's for about an hour. Join the call. You tell us about, if you're having any issues or you have any questions or you're feeling demotivated, you just want to speak to someone, you need a shoulder to cry on that, this thing is giving me a headache, I'm tired, I can't focus again, it's too overwhelming, things like that. That's the call you need to come on. And you'll have your mentors on that call to walk you through, support you, answer questions, help you bring that motivation back alive. So just be committed to the process and be honest with yourself. If you're not grasping something, speak out. One disservice you would do for yourself is not to speak out and ask questions. So be committed to the process. It's 3 months, but it's going to be quite intense. So just be committed to the process and put in your best and be honest with yourself that I have put in my best. So that at the end of the 3 months, you would know, when you put in your best, you would know you've put in your best. So when we say CV review, when we say people should start creating their CV, start creating your CV. Start putting the draft together. I would expect that after this call today, people will start looking into CV creation. Okay, how do I create my CV? What's the structure? What should the structure be like? What are the skills that should be going into my CV? So that when you start doing your sessions, going through your sessions with your tutors, things will start falling in place. And you'll be like, yeah, that's a skill I should have as a Scrum Master. I've mentioned one tonight, conflict resolution. It's a skill everybody should have. Scrum Masters especially is a skill you should have. And it should be on your CV as one of your skills. So things like that. So commitment, be committed to the process and absorb as much as you can. That's what I can say. I don't know if there are any other mentors on the call that wants to add to that, to Isaac's question on what, we would advise that they do in order to help them get to where they want to get to with regards to their career development. But I would just be committed to the process, and ask questions. Okay, all right. Be mindful of time. I hope that was helpful, Isaac. Adeboyega, then I'll come to you, Choma.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Isaac. Adeboyega, please.
Yeah, thank you, Tolu. Yeah, I have some couple of questions. I'll be brief as much as I can. Yes, I know there's one thing to have a juicy CV, and there's another thing for your CV to get to the interview stage. And what about having a certification? So from your experience, which one do you really, okay, let me say, do recruiters at this, maybe let me say in UK generally, are they certificate cautious? Because sometimes you might have a juicy CV and they might want to pick from the people that have certifications. Yeah, and so because sometimes there was a time when you apply for a job and they needed like 3 skills, and within you have about 6 or 7, even more than what they required. And you find out that you were not called, you understand? So that was actually, so I was talking to someone concerning that because I got frustrated. So
Yeah.
I was talking to the person that what is going on and things like that. So the person told me, I don't know how true it was and everything, but the person told me that, when there's a job opening, they just needed someone, and you have like maybe 50 to 70 applicants, you understand? So the person said what they do sometimes, they will just, okay, they might just have a glance look at it. Maybe once they pick the first 5, that the remaining one, they might likely not even check all those CVs. So it could be the reason why maybe you're not getting back feedback. Maybe it is possible your CV is not even looked at. So how do you have a juicy CV and make sure you are given the opportunity for an interview? Is it that you should go for certifications? Maybe that one can help. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Adegboyega, for that. Really, really good questions. So, as you were asking your questions, I was having answers in my head. So let me just hope that I remember to pour out as much as I had in my head when you were asking your questions. So first thing, certification. Your certification, it's good that you have your certification. One, it validates what you know. It validates you as a Scrum Master. It validates you as a BA. It validates you as a QA, as a data analyst, whatever your role is. So it is good that you have your certification. Yeah. Also, apart from the fact that it validates you that, within your role, I'm certified, it also gives you some level of confidence as well. So anywhere you want to talk, you remember when I introduced myself, I said I'm an experienced and certified. Do you get what I mean? So it gives you that level of confidence as well. And it does help to boost your CV. I remember that at the start of this call, I mentioned certification as well. That from now, I think it was even one of the first things I said. From now on, if you're not sure what certification you need to have for your different roles, start asking those questions. Now, as a BA, what certification do I need to do? What what platform do I need to get that certificate from? Is it from Scrum Study? Is it from Scrum Guide? Whatever, what platform do you get? Where do I need to get? Ask your mentors those questions. And I know that Deji will still talk about certifications as well, but start to look into certifications now, because aside from the fact that it validates you, it gives you that level of confidence and it helps to boost your CV. Yeah. So remember that I said certification. Well, start putting together the draft for your CV. Start looking into certifications and stuff like that, because then that would be part of the ingredients that will go into your CV. Now, the thing is this. I don't know about anyone else, but for me as a person, I know I have. I don't have as many certifications that DG has. I don't. But I have a couple of certifications that I've done, right? And I have them on my CV. And for the different roles that I have worked in, I haven't been asked to show those certifications, like submit your certification or show us your certification. It hasn't been asked from me. But again, what if they ask? It's there. I have it. I can show it. Do you get what I mean? So it's good that you have your certifications. It's really good that you have your certification. So look into that. Start looking into that from now, because you've only just started. So start looking into that side of things for now. Do you get what I mean? It validates you within as a QA, Adegboyega. It gives you that level of confidence and it boosts your CV. Now, I hope that answers the question on certification. Now, with regard to your CV, there are times when you have the right content in your CVs, but you still don't get called for interviews. One, a lot of us has gotten that response, oh, unfortunately, we will not be going ahead with your application. Unfortunately, this.
I hate those words.
I know. And sometimes for me, then at the start, when I see unfortunately, I don't even open the email. I'll just delete. Now, like you said, Adeboyega, it can be demoralizing sometimes. Like, what is it that I'm doing wrong? What is it? Do you get what I mean? Remember that I said, just pick a few points from the things that I've said today. Remember that I said during the call earlier on, I said Chioma's journey is different from Rose's journey. Chioma might get a job within her role at the end of this month. Tolu might not get a job until the next 2 months. Remember I said that. Everyone's grace, your grace is different from my grace. Your journey is different from my journey. Rejoice with me when I get there. I rejoice with you when you get there. Those, unfortunately, just have it at the back of your mind. Use those, unfortunately, use them as a step, as a ladder, because it would get you to your fortunately. When you get interviews and they come back and say, oh, well, we won't be moving forward with you. Unfortunately, we went with someone more experienced, whatever. That is fine. You've done the interview. You've taken something away from them, which is the questions they asked you. Those questions they asked you, you've taken it from them. They didn't give you the job, but you know those questions. You know how you will polish your response to those questions so that next time another person asks you the same question in an interview, you have a better response for it. You can only get better with the process. When you feel like we're humans, so there are times you will get demotivated. Let's be honest with ourselves. When you're at that point, speak to someone, speak to your mentor if you need to. Speak to your colleague that you've built a relationship with. Lift each other's spirit up. Because times like that might come, because we're humans. Times like that might come. Now, you said, Adeboyega, that there are times when they're asking for 2-3 skills, and you have more than that you've put on your CV, but they're still not calling you. Now, one thing I just want to say to that is this. Aside from everything else that I've said, one thing I want to say is this. It's one thing for you to have more skills than what they require. But what words did you use for those skills in your CV? You might have experience or you might have a skill in a certain area, but within the agile space, within the project management space, have you used the right word that it is being called? I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Because sometimes with those CVs, what they do is, and I know somebody has mentioned this thing before, but I keep forgetting. There are times when there's something they sieve your CV through. They look for certain buzzwords. They look for this organization, this company wants this, somebody that has this, and that. And that is what they would scan your CV for, to see, does this person have these things in his or her CV at all? And you might have it, I might have it. But maybe, for example, let me use, let me go back to conflict resolution now. Now, let me use that as an example. So maybe, Adeboyega, maybe you've put conflict resolution in your CV as part of your skills and also as part of maybe some of your responsibilities. Maybe you've put it like 2 or 3 times. And maybe in my own CV, I've put it like 8 times. And they scan your CV and scan my CV. They'll probably look at it like maybe I have more experience in that area than you have because you've mentioned it less than I have. Do you get, that's just like as an example. Do you get what I mean? So the terminologies that are being used within your role as a QA in the agile space, in the project management space, are those the same terminologies that you're using in your CV to describe your skills? Because those are the terminologies that they will be looking for. I don't know if I'm getting somewhere with what I'm saying. Does that make any sense?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Yeah. So just have a look at your CV and make sure that you're using the right buzzwords required within your role. And the other thing is this: if you have your CV out there, if you have your CV out there, you put your CV out there and it's been out for maybe 2-3 weeks and you're not getting any calls, or maybe you're getting interview first stage and you're not getting, even if, let's just say you're not getting any calls at all and your CV has been out for 3 weeks, pull your CVs back in, pull them out from those from JobServe, Indeed, wherever you've put it. Remove those CVs from there. Update your CV. Change things around, move things around. Your CV should evolve. The same CV you have out there last month should not be the same you have there in there this month. It might just be one thing that has changed. It might be a new skill you learned. It might be a new tool you learned how to use. It might be something new that you've learned. Or maybe you're a Scrum Master and then you now learn something new around what the QAs are doing. You want to add it to your CV. Your CV should evolve. So if you have your CV out for maybe like 3 weeks or thereabout and you're not getting any calls for any interview, pull your CV back out. Go through your CV again. And whilst you're going through your CV, you realize, I need to add this skill or this thing that I learned 2 weeks ago. It's not on my CV. Let me add it. Change things around, move things around. Update your CV and then put it back out there again. I hope that helps, Adegboyega.
Yes, please.
Yeah, cool. Thank
Yes.
you. And I know we've gone out of time, so I'll just take Choma and Alex. But again, please, other mentors on the call, if you have a word or two that you want to share as well, please. I don't know if Wumi will give us the time, but I think we'll start to round up now because we've gone past our time. So Choma and Alex, very quickly. So Choma, let's come to you very quickly first, please.
Thank you so much for all that you've shared and shared with us tonight. So just really regarding CV, so carrying on with the topic of CV, where some jobs are looking for things like 3 to 5 years experience, but yeah, I feel like I've got transferable skills. How do I utilize those transferable skills to fit into the experience that, say, some Scrum Master jobs are asking for? Say, so for instance, they're asking for like 3 years experience as a Scrum Master. How can I utilize my transferable skills to amend my CV to suit that?
Okay, so I would say, and I hope this would answer your question. So I would say, list out those I'm just somebody that I like to take notes, list things out. I like to, visualize things, look at things on paper and, see what does this thing look like? Okay, how can I move this around? How can I change that? I would say for me, I would say maybe list out those transferable skills that you have and then look at those transferable skills and look at what they are called within the Agile space for you as a Scrum Master. Maybe maybe you help to organize workshops. You have that skill, you're good at present, things like that. What would you call that on your CV, to help fit into the role that you're applying for? Facilitating. You facilitate workshops, you facilitate ceremonies, things like that. So list out those transferable skills that you have and look at, is this thing being called what I've noted it down. Is this what it is being called within the Agile space? Yes. Okay, that's fine. Is this what this is being called within the Agile space within my role as a Scrum Master? No. Instead, they use this terminology to call for this skill. Use the one that they use for that skill. Use it within. Do you get what I mean? I don't know if that answers your question, but just list out those transferable skills and see how does it work within your role as a Scrum Master and what are these things called? What terminologies do they use for these things? There are people that would probably be, maybe they're currently working as within the customer service side of things, that they relate with people, they engage with people every day on a regular basis. There are transferable skills from that you can have as a Scrum Master, that you can bring on board as a Scrum Master, but there will be ways that you will change the wordings to fit into what it's expected to be called within your role as a Scrum Master. Does that help in any way?
It does. I have more, but I will ask another time. I'll let Alex have a turn and then.
Don't worry, we have next week Thursday. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
no worries, you're welcome. Alex.
Hi, so I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. So I was talking to a friend of mine and they said something about, because you mentioned the AI tools that filter out CVs. And the person also mentioned that you see how sometimes you go on LinkedIn and there's these really, they do the easy to apply jobs that everybody just applies for. I wanted to ask 2 questions, so I'll make it quick. So do you think those easy to apply jobs are the ones that, because there's so many candidates, that perhaps it's really difficult to get the job because there's so many candidates and they use AI to filter out people? And secondly, would you say it is better to reach out to like a headhunter as opposed to just applying? Because, you know, apparently the headhunters are really good. They'll chase the job leads for you. And, you know, they have an incentive to make sure that you get the job as opposed to just hustling for a job with like 2,000 other people. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Alex. Alex, use all available avenues that you can to get a job. Recruiters, go through recruiters. Use Easy Apply on LinkedIn. JobServe, whatever. The way you have, when I got the roles that I got, do you think there were not thousands of applicants? Of course, there were thousands of applicants. There are thousands of applicants out there, thousands, millions, whatever. But there are lots of, for everyone that got roles, even before the end of their internship on this platform, they were not the only applicants. There would have been thousands of applicants. Do you get what I mean? So don't limit yourself to maybe job hunters or whatever. Don't limit yourself at all. Put yourself out there. Use every avenue. The thing is this as well. You would know, even on LinkedIn, right? Make sure that there are, I think, it does ask for skills. Make sure that you have your skills, you know, because sometimes you would see that, okay, you're fit for this role, or you have 5 of the skills required for this role. You don't have this skill, you don't have that skill. So make sure that you have the right skills as well on your LinkedIn as well, because then that would help. But of course, don't say because there are thousands of people using Easy Apply on LinkedIn, don't say because of that, you know, you would not bother yourself about that and you just go for, no. Use it. Use your Easy Apply. You never know the one that will click for you. You would never know the one that will click for you. Do you get what I mean? So please do not limit yourself in terms of applying for jobs. With regards to the headhunters, I haven't used them before. I don't know how they work. I don't know how it works because I haven't used them before. I use the normal platforms that you have out there: Glassdoor, Indeed, Total Jobs, JobServe, you know. But those are the platforms that I know that I've used. So, but
Like when I mean headhunters, I mean like applying to like a recruitment agency, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you could. And in fact, you can even apply directly to the organizations themselves. Because there are some applications, there are some jobs that you would see online, and it would say to you, apply on company's website. Those applications on company website will take you, you know, might take you 10 minutes to complete the application form. Just be patient, just complete it and submit it. You can do that. Sometimes there was someone that said to me that, you know, she actually went on Barclays Bank website, and that was how she got her role. She went on their careers job site website. She saw BA roles, you know, and she applied for the BA role. She got called for interview, you know. So she did. So use all available platforms. Yes, of course, you can reach out to recruiters, you know, of course, again, yeah, absolutely, why not? But yeah, don't limit yourself, because don't just limit yourself. That's what I would say. Don't limit yourself. You never know where that job will click from. Bolu, I see one of the mentors, the BA mentors, has her hands up.
Yes, thanks, Tolu. I just wanted to respond to that question because I've used Easy Apply, and I just wanted to say that with Easy Apply, sometimes, like Tolu said, use every avenue. But when you go on LinkedIn, you can see the number of people that have applied for the job. So if you can, you can look out for jobs that have dropped within the last 1 hour, 2 hours, if you are that meticulous and you are really trying to filter down. However, if you use Easy Apply, also look for job descriptions that you feel like maybe you can choose 4 of those jobs that you follow up and send emails to. So it's like you're sending email to the recruiter and saying, oh, I applied for this particular job and did this, I submitted my CV, I'm just following up on this. So yeah, if you use Easy Apply, you can also do that as well. Just pick some of those job descriptions that you feel like, oh, I think that this is my job. I'm really interested in this particular role, and then follow up on those. But yeah, Easy Apply is very good. I got my current job using Easy Apply on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, Bolu. That was really helpful as well. Yeah, of course. Bolu also, you know, mentioned a key part to that as well, which is you know, if you can see the recruiter or the hiring manager or whatever, if their name and their number or their contact, the email is there or whatever, you can send them an email just to say, oh, I've seen this job on blah 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 blah, and you know, I've sent in my application, just wanted to follow up, and you know, put yourself forward out there, put yourself out there and just follow up with emails. Let them know that, yes, I have what it takes to get this job, and I've put in my application and I just want to follow. Sometimes that helps, that puts you above, you know, other people. So you'll be shocked at how just that email can actually put you up above, because then they would see that this person is actually really keen for this job. I hope that helped to answer your question as best as we can, Alex.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I like how it's been interactive. I like the fact that you've asked. See, that's why I said I like it when you ask questions. So thank you for all the questions, and I hope we were able to answer to the best of our ability, answer all your questions as well. And yeah, let's keep making this interactive, and please try your best to make sure that you're on these sessions on Thursday. Like I said, we've done the introductory part of these sessions. We're going to start going a little bit more in depth, you know, from next week Thursday into career development sessions. So thank you guys, and apologies, Wumi, I've taken 13 minutes of your time. I think this is where I
It's
would.
fine, thank you. It's fine.
Thank you
As long
much.
as they're able to learn.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tolu. Thank you for coming to, you know, grace our career development today. We're expecting many more of you in this particular cohort. We'll really like to have you come to inspire us and show us the way. Okay, thank you so much, Tolu. Really, we appreciate, and thank you, Bolu, for the contribution. Thank you to all those that asked questions and all. And I'd like to say that for the aspect of even searching on JobServe and all that, don't worry, we'll take you through everything. If I'm not mistaken, you should be doing that by next week with Deji. Should take you guys through how to actually search for those jobs to make it easier for you guys. But it doesn't stop you from starting now, yeah? Just start and start freestyling in your own way. Just so you know, some of your colleagues have started sending out their CVs already. So don't think that some people, they don't have chilo. So you can tell your mentors to look through what you have with you. For those that already have their CVs, you can start sending it out. There's nothing as good as trying early, so that you can get all your feedbacks and all, even for your interviews and everything. Don't worry, everything will go fine. If you have questions, even outside of career development days, please feel free to ask the question. So I don't know if anybody has any other thing to say. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Hopefully none. Okay, thank you. 5 seconds rule. Let's have a lovely day. Let's have a lovely night rather. So I'll stop recording.